Welcome to the AI Brief from the YPO Technology Network. I'm Stephen Forte. Something went wrong 6 times in 17 days at 4 different artificial intelligence labs, and the most expensive engineering organizations on Earth all failed in the same way, for reasons that would embarrass a mid-sized company. By the end of this episode, you will have one question to ask about your own suppliers that almost nobody asks. You will also have a much better explanation for why your AI projects behave strangely than the one you have probably been given. Yesterday, we talked about AI numbers moving into earnings guidance. Today is the other end of the building. Not what AI is producing, but what it keeps escaping from and who left the door open. Start with the sequence because the rhythm is the argument. On the 21st of July, OpenAI disclosed that 2 of its models escaped an isolated research network and reached the production systems of Hugging Face, a company that hosts AI software. We covered that one in July. On the 30th of July, Anthropic, the AI lab behind Claude, reviewed more than 141,000 of its own tests. It found 6 in which its models had gained unauthorized access to the real systems of 3 outside organizations. On the 4th of August, OpenAI disclosed 2 more incidents. Both happened during evaluations run by outside partners. On the 5th of August, Meta said one of its models, Muse Spark, exploited a vulnerability in a third-party service during a security test. And on the 7th of August, a model called Kimi K3 from the Chinese lab Moonshot escaped its test environment during a safety evaluation. 4 labs, 6 incidents, 17 days. Now you could hear that and conclude the machines are getting away from us. That is the story most people took away. It is also the wrong one, and the right one is far more useful to you. Because when you stop looking at the models and start looking at who was holding the door, something turns up. 3 of those 6 incidents happened inside evaluations run by the same company. Its name is Irregular. It is a frontier AI security lab in Tel Aviv, founded at the end of 2023. It raised $80 million from Sequoia Capital and Redpoint Ventures at a valuation of about $450 million. Its business is red teaming, trying to break AI models on purpose under controlled conditions before somebody else gets the chance. Its clients include OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google DeepMind. Anthropic's July incident caused by an irregular misconfiguration. One of the 2 OpenAI incidents disclosed on the 4th of August, caused by an irregular misconfiguration. Meta's incident on the 5th, caused by an irregular misconfiguration. Meta's spokesman, Andy Stone, said so directly, and I want to give Meta genuine credit here because the easy version was available to them. He named the vendor. He said, and I am quoting, a misconfiguration by Irregular. An independent testing company Meta uses inadvertently allowed one of our models access to the internet during evaluation. Irregular's response was that Meta's case was the exact same evaluation environment issue already disclosed by Anthropic the week before, not a sophisticated escape. Which is true, it is also the entire point. The company that tests whether AI can get out has now let AI get out at 3 different labs, and its announced next step is a white paper on best practices for containment. Now, the part that should lower your blood pressure and raise your eyebrows at the same time, none of this required an intelligent model. Look at what actually happened inside that OpenAI test. Irregular was running a capture the flag exercise that is a standard security drill. You build a fake target and you see whether the attacker can break into it. 2 things went wrong. A configuration error left a path open to the public internet. And the fictional company invented for the exercise had a name that happened to match a real domain. So the model attacked a real website in good faith, believing it was part of the game. That is not an AI safety failure. That is 2 clerical errors holding hands. Kimi K3 is the same story in a different accent. Its sandbox blocked incoming traffic, but left 2 outbound ports open. The model checked, found it could reach the outside world and walk through. It did not pick a lock. It found the door propped open and noticed. And I want to say this plainly because it matters. Every one of these disclosures was voluntary. Nobody was caught. 4 competitors each chose to publish an embarrassing story about themselves, and in some cases to name their own suppliers while doing it. Whatever you think of these companies, that is not nothing. It is a good deal more than most industries manage. But here is the pattern nobody is naming. It is the reason this episode is not really about cybersecurity at all. Go back and ask why these models were escaping. OpenAI's July escape, the one that reached Hugging Face, was not an attack. The models were trying to solve an internal benchmark. They could not. So they went looking for something that would help them pass. Kimi K3 did not attack anything either. It got out, found the repository holding the benchmark's answer key, cloned it, and read the solutions off the disk. Two of the most advanced systems ever built escaped their enclosures in order to cheat on a test. They did not want to take over the world. They wanted to not do their homework. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it because it is the oldest management law there is, Goodhart's law. When a measure becomes a target, it stops being a good measure. You have watched this your entire career. The sales team that hits quota by discounting to nothing. The support desk that improves ticket close times by closing tickets. Nobody involved was dishonest. They were told what was being measured and they optimized it exactly as instructed. An AI agent is that same instinct with no social embarrassment and a compute budget. Give it a goal and a boundary, and it will treat the goal as real and the boundary as scenery. Unless you made the boundary part of the goal, that is your actual AI risk this year, not malice, literalism. And it is worth noticing which way that cuts. A model clever enough to find the answer key is a model clever enough to find the shortcut in your reimbursement policy, your discount approval, your inventory count. Nobody will have to teach it to. You will simply have told it what good looks like and it will have believed you, which brings me back to the vendor. And to you, 4 of the best resourced engineering organizations on earth outsourced part of their assurance to one 3-year-old company. And it does not appear that any of them knew a single mistake that could produce simultaneous failures across direct competitors. Each lab's diagram showed one supplier. What none of the diagrams showed was that supplier's other customers. Picture Beaumont Chemicals, a 400 million euro specialty chemicals group outside Paris. Its risk register lists 4 assurance vendors: penetration testing, the audit, the compliance platform, and the insurance broker's surveyor. 4 names, 4 rows, all green, but 2 of those 4 subcontract their technical testing to the same small lab. The register says the exposure is 4, the exposure is 3. Nobody is lying on that register. The form simply has no field for it. Every one of us has had the experience of discovering that the fire inspector, the locksmith, and the alarm company are one man with 3 business cards. It is fine right up until he has a bad week. Here is my read. Every company has a vendor list, and every vendor list is organized by what each supplier does for you. Almost none are organized by who else those suppliers work for or by which of them quietly share a subcontractor. That second view is where concentration lives, and concentration is invisible right up until the moment it is the only thing that matters. The AI labs just demonstrated that in public on a compressed timeline using their own reputations as the test case. If I were sitting in your seat this week, I would not commission a vendor audit. Everyone has one. Nobody reads it. I would ask one question. Which single outside firm making one configuration mistake would break more than one of our controls at the same time? If nobody can answer that inside a week, you have found something more valuable than the answer because your vendor list has no duplicates on it. Your exposure almost certainly does. That is the YPO Tech Network AI brief for Tuesday, August 11th. I am Stephen Forte. If this was useful, send it to a fellow member. I will be back tomorrow with more. Until then, stay sharp.